back, all my 40k fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40k battle report. Today, I am joined for the very first time by my good buddy Eric, also a teammate of mine on Burning Rivers. Say hello, Eric.
It's nice to meet you guys. It's nice to be on the channel. I'm happy to play, so I'm always down.
Me and Eric have run into each other a couple times at GTs where I think you had a bad run-in with some scarabs, didn't you?
You scared killed Canis Rex, so that was real rough.
You guys heard it here first. Scarab takes out Canis Rex in 9th edition, mind you. 9th edition times. And there was a lot more into that. But on the score sheet at the end, Scarab 1, Canis Rex 0. Guys, as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do and turn on the bell for notifications to get notified on all of the 40k content that me and many, many others in the coming future will be bringing here on the channel. Today, I'm doing one of the 40k on the fly videos where we'll make it a much shorter battle report, kind of just recording the end of turns, what we did, our thoughts during the turn, and maybe some pivotal points if some stuff comes about during the game. Both of us for me, this is a new test of a tournament list style. What about yours?
For me, I've played this list a few times before, so it's kind of figuring out the kinks. It did change a little bit with the recent FAQ, but not a ton, so we'll see how it plays. I imagine
the most recent FAQ was more or less just a cleanup of like some of the missing words and data sheets and the proofreading and stuff like that. One of my favorite ones is the fact that Chaplain can lead Terminators, but he didn't have leader out of Grey Knights. That was good job. Gotta always love that one. Well, it's been kind of a cryptic. We said the armies, so why don't we take a look real quick and talk about the armies that we're bringing. Eric, what army are you bringing with you today?
So today I'm playing World Eaters. Obviously, my warlord is Angron himself, the Red Angel. He is followed by Lord of Vikatis, a World Eater's Demon Prince with the favor of Khorne. It has been changed a little bit, so I only get the reroll once per battle round instead of as many times as I could. I have a World Eater's Master of Execution with the Berserker Glaive for some extra damage. I have a squad of 10 Jackals with all the fixings, so Skull Smasher, Mauler Chainblade, and an Icon. I have a squad of 10 Khorne Berserkers with 3 Plasma Pistols, 1 Icon, and 2 Eviscerators. Then I have 2 squads of 5 Khorne Berserkers with Plasma Pistols, Khornate Eviscerators, and Icons. Then I have 1 squad of regular 8-bound with the champion having Lacerators, and 2 squad of Exalted 8-bound with paired 8-bound Chain Fists on the champions, and then Chain Fist and Eviscerator on the followers.
All right, so friends of the channel may know my Arch City GT list. It's very similar to what I brought there with a couple of changes. So some of the things that are similar is I'm still rocking a Land Raider with las cannons. I still have a Dread Knight in there, regular, not Grandmaster, with a Hammer, Psy Cannon, and Silencer. We have 2 5-man Interceptor teams to be able to sneak in there for some secondary objective fun, as well as I dropped the Purifiers from 10 to 5, and Crow is sitting on the shelf for this game. We also dropped one of my strike squads so I could upgrade it to a 5-man Terminator, so I have 2 5-man Terminators with Banner and Apothecary inside. Grandmaster's out. Drago is now in. I'm going to give Drago a try. His Feel No Pain versus Mortal Wounds seems very valuable, especially in some Eldar matchups. I also am bringing a Tech Priest, or Tech Marine, I should say. A little too much AdMech there. Tech Marine with 4 Servitors, who will be joining a squad of Strike. The Tech Marine has a signal of exigence, so when he gets shot at his squad, they can pick him up and redeploy them somewhere else. With Strike having sticky objectives, I think that's going to be really, really helpful to do my little kid running in and out of rooms, turning on light switches, and making my opponent have to catch up and turn off all of the lights with sticky objectives. I also have the Calidus Assassin is coming back, because she's just awesome, being able to Vex 1 stratagem as well as picking her up off the table and doing what the rest of my army does, redeploy all over the place and try and score some tactical objectives. So I have some good news going into this matchup for you. I have never played against World Eaters.
It'll be something new, at least.
Have you had a chance to play against Grey Knights?
I have not played against them with their index.
So the big thing with Grey Knights, and anyone who has and is tuning in for the first time to know, the big thing for Grey Knights is the ability that, because of the size battle, I'm allowed to select 3 units at the end of your turn, pick them up, and then I can replace them back down as similar to a Deep Strike 9 inches away from any enemy unit. And so basically it allows me to constantly have tools that I'm cycling through, especially with tactical objectives and drawing cards and stuff like that. It helps me stay ahead of that game to be able to be really strong on scoring tactical objectives. So as far as the world leaders, what are they doing for their army data sheet buff? What is their powerful popular ability?
So their ability right now is Blessing of Corn, no longer the Blood Tide. So at the beginning of each battle round, I roll 8 dice. And then based on triples and doubles of certain values, I can get different buffs for my army. So some of them are 6 up, Feel No Pain, Advance and Charge, Fight on Death, Exploding Sixes, those things like that.
I'm already flinching when you're saying at the beginning of the game I roll 8 dice. I just start flinching. Just hearing my opponents rolling dice that are used to the game. I just twitches the bell dart. So with world leaders, Angron, he can return back to life, can't he?
Yeah, so anytime you make a Blessing of Corn roll, you can use 3 6s to bring Angron back. There are ways to manipulate the Blessing of Corn roll. So I will roll at the beginning of each battle round, and then for the favorite corn, I can re-roll all my dice again. And then if I kill a unit in combat, I can then use a strat to make Blessing of Corn roll. And because him coming back is not a Blessing of Corn, it's in addition to 2 other blessings.
You know, Drago likes carving the name in Primarch's hearts, so I think it's only fitting that I brought Drago today. Totally it just happened that way, but Drago's coming. Drago's coming for some Angron. So, all right, on the channel, the way we do things is because our terrain is pretty much evenly deployed. The only thing really to do is a 50-50 roll-off to see who's going to be attacker and defender. So, Mr. Eric, odd or even?
Even.
And it is even. See? Someone can win. Someone can win, Lane. Would you like to be the attacker or the defender today?
I would like to be the attacker.
All right, so guys, we'll be back after we get our armies deployed. All right, and we are deployed. So the missions that we're doing today, first of all, our deployment is Search and Destroy. So that's why we got these nice little table quarters over here, world leaders over here, and the Grey Knights doing what Grey Knights do best, hide in a house. We are doing Purge the Foe as our mission, so this is the hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more, as far as the points are concerned. And we got hidden supplies for the mission rule, so that's why in this deployment we have these 2 additional objective markers right in the center. With all that being said, let's cue in over to the stars of the show, the armies. First up, the world leaders. So, Mr. Eric, what are we looking at today?
So with world leaders, with my list, it's pretty simple. Run, go forward, go fast. I did position as much as I could within my Demon Prince's aura of invulns because world leaders are pretty flimsy, so I'm going to need that invuln if you go first. And with Lord Invocatus's give 2 units scout, if I need to, I can get everyone in that bubble just to make it real difficult to kill. Or if I go first, I can move out and start pressuring you. Ideally, turn 1, it'll be pretty difficult because you're very much in the back of your deployment, but that means I can grab objectives and start hopefully playing missions.
And there we go, talking over to the Grey Knights. Yes, I'm putting myself in the corner. So Land Raider is holding the Purifiers inside, and my Striker hanging out back on this objective to start wiggling and moving around the field as we see fit. Dread Knight hanging out also back here on the wall, able to get some nice firing lanes, and hanging out over here, all by her lonesome, the Calidus Assassin. So, all that's left now is determine who goes first. So, Eric, you got any preference?
I would really like to go first.
Spoken like a true world leader. All right. Honestly, in some ways, I don't like it. It's usually I want to go second, but in this one, I'm not really sure. So, we'll see how it rolls out. Hey, world leaders get their wish. So, world leaders will be going first, and we'll come back after the turn to give you guys the recap and stop you if anything interesting happens. So, here we go. I do apologize. I just realized that my microphone was actually not connected. So now we are reconnected and good to go as we come to the end of the world leader's turn. Not a whole lot happened here. Mostly Eric's just getting into position and kind of pushing forward. Eric, any thoughts on what your direction you're going in, and talk a little bit about your secondaries.
So for my secondaries, I had Deploy Teleport Homers and Extend Battle Lines, two very nice ones to get on turn 1 with World Leaders because they're pretty easy to score. So I was already on objective for Extend Battle Lines, but for Deploy Teleport Homers, I had Invocatus just stick around because I do like the 8 bounds buff of getting rerolls the wound, which is very nice in World Leaders, especially with Berserkers with their low strength weapons. I moved out and I just tried to claim as many objectives as I could. I know he can take away a lot of stuff and he is going to pressure me on holding these objectives, so an early start is nice. I did run out and kill his assassin.
Assassinate the assassin.
Just because it was within range, the Exalted 8-bound can do it, and it prevents her from making my stratagems cost more, which is very nice when I need to roll my blessing multiple times a turn. So just so you guys know, for my blessing, I did take the 6-up Feel No Pain and Advance Charge. I feel like the 6-up Feel No Pain is almost an auto-sink.
All right, so now that finishes out the World Leader's turn, scoring 8 points on secondary with 1 kill. Now we'll move over into the Grey Knights. All right, so very uneventful turn for me. Was not able to pick up where I went. So I got Assassinate and Area Denial. Area Denial was not going to happen, considering we're kind of hoarded out of center right now. Yeah. So I rashed the Dread Knight in to try to get vengeance for the Calidus and left one guy with 1 wound. Eric would pop those 5-up Feel No Pains like nothing, just out of his back pocket to keep him alive. Over here, Land Raider. Land Raider definitely put some hate on Angron, dropping him down to 3 wounds. Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't completely kill him, so he can't just immediately come back. So now Eric's got to deal with an Angron with only 3 wounds left, which is kind of fragile.
Yep.
And secondaries, I did not score anything. I'm going to discard the Area Denial to get a command point. Mm-hmm. And we're going to move over into Eric's turn. So he skunked me on the secondaries for the first round, but have no fear. We got more to come. All right, so World Leaders are getting scary quick into my face. Angron rushed in and removed the Land Raider. Tried to overwatch him, but 6s. They couldn't find him. But over here, Eric was able to find some 6s as he's still alive. Like, I almost don't even want to attack him anymore. I feel like he's just a wound sink. Lord Avocado and his 3 henchmen rushed in to take the objective to be able to get tempting targets, because I selected that one. And my Dread Knight is gone now after that impact. So right now, where is a huge lead right now from Eric on secondaries? What you got? You got tempting target for 5?
And I got cleanse, and I did that from that objective that's pretty well hidden over here, and I did it on this objective here for another 5 because I got 2. And yeah, it was very much, I'm just shifting over because he put his Dread Knight there. I'm trying to keep it pretty evenly distributed because I know he's got a lot of stuff that's going to come down this turn in his turn.
Yep.
So I need if I can weather the storm, I think I'm doing pretty well. If I can't, that'll be rough.
All right, well, let's see what I can answer back with. I really hope my luck is about to change. Angron is still here. I swarmed him. I shot him with everything, and he dropped 1 wound. Now, on the benefit, though, when Angron turned around and smacked me, my servitors were able to take all of that damage pretty nicely. And Drago got angry. Drago picked up the 8-bound, and he's ready to fight this the Lord Avocado over here. So, yeah, I mean, that's good, but come on, Angron, why won't you just die? Oh, this is going bad. I have scored again 0 on secondaries. So I am going to have to really push this out later in the game. I am not going to go for a Gambit, though, because I am keeping... Eric's jumped ahead on primaries, but after I get these guys out of the way and can start making my moves, hopefully I can at least start to get some objectives back and score those points. Mm-hmm. This is a rough position, but we still got much more of the game ahead of us. And it just means with Grey Knights, I might have to get a little wild with it. Might have to get wild and start rushing in here. Also over here, I did bring in 5 Terminators and beat up some of the Jackals back here. So we are starting to get ready for that go wild turn to come. So, all right, Eric's about to start on his turn 3, and we'll see how this goes. Not the way I wanted it to go down, but Angron is temporarily dead. So I was finally able to pick him up, but man, did he get crushed. I crush a whole bunch of my dudes. So my strike down to one guy. My purifiers down to one guy. Drago over here from Lord Avocado down to 2 wounds, but he put a hurting on Lord Avocado too. So we'll see how that's going to finish up. The charges over here did fail on the Terminators. Eric tried to move just outside of 9, so I couldn't run away with them, and it was a good play. But then you got to roll the 9s to make the charge. 9s are necessary in that situation. Over here, these Terminators are dead. I just kept them on there because I'm going to start rebuilding Terminators here. And yeah, so I do have 2 squads of Interceptors still in reserve, but this is going to be rough. I'm running out of resources. I picked up a big chunk of his, but unfortunately, Angron could possibly come back. So we'll move over into the Grey Knight turn. Oh, I did pick up Assassinate, so I'll get 2 new cards. So that'll help me on the tactical side. So let's see how this plays out. All right, so yeah, my Terminators got murdered over here in the return fire in my turn, and I was able to pick up Lord Avocado over here. However, it cost me my Interceptors. Drago is still hiding in there. He was able to make it out. I dropped in the Interceptors, long bomb to charge, and Avocado fought on death and picked them up. Solo Purifier completed cleanse for me. Way to be a champ. And over here, my Terminators charged in, lost a guy, and did 5 wounds to the Demon Prince. So the question comes about now of, do I try and Gambit? And I think that the only answer is yes. I'm going to attempt to Gambit because, man, my dice have sucked this game. Holy crap. This has been bad. Oh, man, this was bad. So let's see if I can pull it out with the Gambit. I still have enough units, so I might be able to squeak it. We'll see what happens.
Mhm.
All right, the battlefield's looking pretty red as I'm running out of my silver boys. But one Terminator did manage to live over here, even after getting crashed into by the Exalted Eightbound?
Correct.
Yep. He's got 1 wound left, and he is the Apothecary, so he'll at least bring a guy back. I was able to pick my Purifier up off the table because I'm going to need him going into 5 for my Gambit. And my last little strike guy got shot off the field. Over here, Angron landed a 9 on his charge, killing 4 of the 5 Interceptors, and the 1 remained. And he is going to not take on Angron. He's going to leave that to Drago. All right, Now we're going to go in. I still can score some secondaries here on tactical, so let's see what I can make happen here, but it is looking pretty rough. All right, there isn't very much left. I got a couple little dudes left. I got Drago over in the corner. My secondaries were totally terrible. Well, engaging all fronts isn't bad, but I really can't go into that right now. So I just pitch bring it down, and that's going to be it for the turn. I picked on some damage on Angron, and well, let's see. It's going to be, that's the end of my 4, and I don't see myself pulling this one out. All right, over to Eric. All right, so Eric's trying to stop me. I got some tricks, trying to reduce me or make me have to do some work here. I was able to pick up my single Interceptors are picked up. This Purifier's hanging out here. Angron was not able to fit to get to Drago. So Drago picked up and left the field. And the Terminators left the field, but they kind of didn't leave in the same fashion. They got kind of forcibly ejected from the stadium.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what I can do in this final turn. All right, so this is the end of turn 5. And I was able to bring in the Interceptor, shoot, scoot. Now I'm within 9. Drago, command point, 3-inch deep strike. And now I'm within 9. Over here, Purifier never left the table, so he's within 9. And last but surely not least, Interceptor, land, shoot, and then scoot with his power to be within 9. So, Eric, would you do me the favor of holding the camera over the dice tray as we attempt this? So right now I have all the table quarters, so I get 3 plus 3 to this.
All right.
to go for that 12.
Let's see it.
I got it. I stuck it. That's 30 points. 30 points. We'll be back with the final score because I don't think that matters. But that right there is a successful orbital strike gambit for 30 points on camera. All right. And final score, World Eaters 100. Grey Knights 69. Nice. So listen, what's most important about this above everything else is I stuck a gambit. That's right. 30-3-0. Bam, on primaries in one turn. All right, good night, folks. Thanks for watching. No. So, all joking aside in this, turn 1, Angron. In turn 2, Angron. Dude, are your dice loaded?
I'm using yours, so maybe.
Excuses. Yeah, my dice turned on me hardcore this game. Seriously, like you bring your own dice next time. He did bring his own dice too. He's just like, here, I'll just use yours. Like, that's great. That's fine. No, you're not touching my dice anymore, mister. No. Literally. Like I do not.
The amount of feel no pains I made was
gosh.
ridiculous. I had that 1 8-bound over there.
Mhm.
2 turns, I think he was there, and
with 1 wound left.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, this was, and I don't like, aside from everything else into it and seeing how everything else played out, I needed to get out of that corner on turn 1 or 2, and I was ready to.
Yeah.
I was ready to get my guys, pick them up, move out of the corner, and start doing all my crazy Grey Knight stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm looking, I'm like, all right, Angron's got 3 wounds left. Here, let me throw 15 strike bodies at him to do 3 wounds. And I shot at him too.
Yeah.
Nothing. AP just, I'll just save this. I'll just feel no pain. Nothing could get through. The 8-bound was insane though. Like every time it was like, you failed 1, you're like, oh, okay, I got a 5-0 feel on. Blink, blink, blink. I was nothing I could do. And that right there just tied me down that I couldn't get out because Grey Knights, I can't pick up if I'm in engagement range. And because of you holding me down there, like I said, you had squad of berserkers in the middle that they didn't advance. They didn't do anything. They just walked across the field like, hey, okay, did you pick up groceries today? What were you doing? You just walked over there like, oh, hey, there's some Terminators. Yeah, let's just go punch them. Well, should we? And they talked about it. They discussed it. They contemplated it. Then got there.
They were doing my actions on the way to get the combat, which helped a lot for scoring because that's one thing I've seen with World Eaters that's rough, is usually we don't have the buys to score.
No.
But because Angron could just sit there with you.
Yeah, he just babysat me the whole time.
I could use my damage dealing units because 10 berserkers and a master of execution is not cheap to just be doing objectives. That's 300 points.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I would have been fine if you just stayed there and just let I would have been fine if you just let Angron die and stop rolling good. Stop it.
Yeah,
stop it now.
Just stop taking my rolls.
Oh my God, just don't roll dice. Just no. He's dead. Just let that happen. No, that was definitely rough. That was really rough. It wasn't able to get out of that corner, and that definitely sucked because at that point, with me getting pinned down, I wasn't able to push. Not to mention the cards were just the cards that I got when I got them. I couldn't do anything with. Oh, here, get in your deployments. Oh, do this. Okay. And I looked at some like the assassinate. I'm ready to assassinate. Angron's got 3 wounds left. Okay, let me pour everything into him. Cool. I'll get the points. No. Okay. Yeah, man. And then other turns on primaries too, trying to pick up that extra unit. Man, that just wasn't happening. So, but yeah, Grey Knights do not do damage well.
No.
And that's one thing I've noticed with it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, enough about my side of this real quick. Let's jump over into the World Eaters and stuff like that. Angron. Ah, man. Oh, I like him.
I love him. In the last edition, I didn't like him because he took away from your army rules. Because you had to spend blood tie to bring him back, and that meant you weren't getting buffs. Now, with the way that the favorite corn works, it doesn't interfere with your army rule. And he is just such a threat that you really can't run from. At move 14, advance and charge. He can move 16, auto advance 6. So moving 22 inches.
Is there ever a point in the game that you technically could never resurrect him? Or he just basically, if you purchase him, he can be resurrected all game long.
I mean, I guess turn 5.
That's it.
If
That's
you
it, yeah.
kill him, he can resurrect, but then he'll die. So
He'll die by reserve standpoints. Okay.
but other than that, he can always come back as many times as you need. So he's just something that your opponent always has to deal with.
And you're always running it in their face.
Yeah.
All
So
day long.
because of that, and because triple sixes sounds like a lot, but with, if you bring, I forget what it's called, the big Khorne Demon Engine can make an auto 6. You can get full rerolls from Favorite of Khorne, plus individual rerolls from your icons on objectives. It becomes pretty consistent. I think it's like with 3 rerolls, you have like a 22% chance.
Plus, on top of it, you're not just re-rolling in that sense. You're re-rolling garbage that you don't need.
Mhm.
And in the end, if you don't get Angron, you're still building into all the other stuff that you want. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're just like with some abilities in this game and in other games, you're picking up and sacrificing to just completely overhaul into this big dude. But you're not doing that. You're selecting. And it's like, oh, okay, I didn't get this. Like I comparison uses like Magic the Gathering. You tap out all your mana to cast a big creature. And that's kind of what you're doing. Except the difference is in Magic, you tap out to pay for that big creature, and someone goes, oh, 2 mana counterspell. And now your thing's gone. For you, it's like, oh, okay, I guess I failed to summon this creature. So I'm going to use these resources to still power my army elsewhere. So you're not really not hurting yourself as badly in that sense for it. So I like that. And I like the fact that he's just a constant threat all game long. And really pretty much the only way your opponent can deal with it is table the rest of your army so Angron can just not do that heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's really the only way to deal with Angron, which is difficult because he's going to be in your face those early turns because he moves so much faster than the rest of his army.
Mm-hmm.
And he is really tough to deal with unless you're playing like Imperial Knights or Eldari, where you have the damage potential that's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of armies, T11, 2-up save, 4-up invuln, 6-up feel no pain is a lot to get through.
Yeah, it is. And that's, I mean, regardless of like some of the things with, oh, he should have been dead, this, that, and the other, it is still like you are constantly like, okay, but you're getting so many chances to roll dice.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to sit back there and go, okay, fail it. And then eventually you're not failing those things. And now we go back to the side of what I saw. Eventually, eventually waiting for you to fail something took 2 or 3 turns for you to fail a feel no pain on a 8 bound with 1 wound left repeatedly. I want a rematch. I want a rematch. I want him again. I want Angron again. I'm ready for him. That was annoying. That was sucks. So it always sucks when it's like, dude, oh my god, I couldn't get out of there at all. I'm like, I got this. I got a plan. I know what I'll do. I'll get out of here. Just stop rolling 6s. That's it. That's all you had to do was stop rolling 6s, and I would have been fine. I would have gotten out there and been popping around the field, doing my Grey Knight stuff and everything. I'm worried about Khorne Berserkers over here going, all right, how do I tempt in? How do I shoot this? I can't get out of my corner. Man, that sucked.
Yeah, because if you got out of your corner, if you kill Angron, I think that game's significantly different if you kill him like turn 2, because now you can teleport strike and you start putting pressure on my backfield earlier on this objective that you never pressured. Mm-hmm. Because you just didn't have the resources for it by the time it would have been valuable.
No, losing and it was like the dice really hated me. Hated me bad because at first, like the Land Raider, I put in Angron, and I'm not sure. We'd have to go over the numbers and see.
You did. He went down to 9.
From just the
Raider,
from the last Cannon Volley.
Yes,
and then there was the multi-melta and everything else, and we'd have to go through and see like what the actual statistics were on that. I mean, granted, I was hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, so that's pretty good in my favor to get that damage. But then you failed 2, and I rolled 2. CP reroll 3.
Yeah, the damage there didn't really come out that first turn, and unfortunately, that was the only real chance your Land Raider had.
It was also the only chance that my Dread Knight had when I and there it was again with that 8 bound. Like I played it right. Like, okay, let's take out the single dude. let me throw the hammer into him and just
Yeah, with 3 dice, it just didn't come through.
no, it
Unfortunately.
just did not. It was a mess, an absolute mess over there. Like everyone just didn't come to play. I think it was just me today too. Like I was telling you before, I like nearly blew up my store by accidentally spraying degreaser into an electrical outlet. Like seriously, there was like a black cloud over me today. I just need to like go home. I'm already at home. I just need to lay down and sleep this one off like a bad hangover. And that's where I'm at with this. Like, not only am I having a bad day, my army is just like, dude, we just had a tournament. Let us rest. Oh my God. No, but I do want to play that out again because I do feel like some of it in the beginning was slightly
Yeah.
skewed. And I would like to, one thing that you do present is you don't trigger my sigil for shooting.
Yeah.
And with you being able to kind of manipulate your movement phase and not have to get fully within 9 to trigger some of my abilities, that, you didn't lose any resources and were able to play on that safer side of things. And I do feel like that initial part might have been slightly skewed in that favor. I'm not saying I should have dropped Angron on 1.
But by turn 2, really, I do think most games he's gone just because it was just a lot of dice with squads of, I forget what they're called,
Which ones? The
Tech
strike?
Marine squad.
That was
Yeah.
the strike.
The strike squad, you got a decent amount of wounds. They were low AP is the issue, I think. So I was saving
2 putting on a 4 up.
Yeah, but some of your guys had like no AP, like all your Stormbolters really
that stuff,
isn't super effective. Your Psy Cannon being only AP 1, and then getting cover with Angron is insane.
Yes. You stay on that 2 up all day, all game long against that stuff. No, I really do feel like it was the combat part of it when I crashed with all of those units into him. I feel all I needed you to do at that point was fail 1 save because it was so much 2 damage.
Yeah.
And I felt like at that point, that's when he should draw. Also that 8 bound.
Yes.
And by that 8 bound and Angron surviving for so long, that prevented me from doing any of my Grey Knight stuff, and you just holding me there and letting your core berserkers come up there and go, while Angron's holding them down, he didn't have to do anything. They just came in and just beat the crap out of everybody.
Yeah.
So that put me into a really rough position in general with that. And that's why I'd like to run that again, because there is a lot of tech you have into Grey Knight shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I want to put that little bit more pressure onto you and see, okay, now what do you do after this gets pulled and what is that situation, and see how I can play into it as well. Not to mention, I mean, I am tweaking the list. Some of the stuff I saw from Arch City that I'm trying to see if I can mad scientist a bit. That's where the Tech Marines coming in with that squad. Not 100% sold on them. In this matchup, I kind of missed the Purifiers a little bit. I kind of would have liked to have the Purifiers on that Overwatch to be able to really absorb and take some damage, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still messing with stuff with it. Lane actually suggested to me today, and I'm going to be thinking about it, just dropping the Terminators entirely and going mass MSU of 5-man squads.
I feel like with the list you're trying to play, because it's very much not necessarily you're trying to deal damage, you're just trying to just do shenanigans with changing. I feel like you don't need the super expensive Terminator bodies necessarily for that.
No, the reason what I like them for is dealing with artillery, because they can be, since I have to deploy 50%, they're able to absorb the artillery. But maybe taking 2 is too much. Maybe I can just drop it back down to the 1 and go that route. I got to look at that a little more into it. The 2 was kind of a trial and error on that. And I do feel like maybe it was too much of an investment and just pull that back. Also, the Drago didn't do bad. I need to try him a little more.
He did good. Like, he did his damage. He never really, so he failed his charge in the Angron in the last turn, so that didn't really change all too much.
No, Angron failed charging him. I never went after.
You chose not to.
I stopped because I was like, I'm just going to hide here in this rough area, which conveniently ended up being too difficult for Angron to get into.
Yeah,
but
I wanted to go around and do a long bomb charge, but then I said, nah, I'll go in the Drago, and then it just didn't turn out, which happens. Probably a little bit of poor playing, but that's okay. What I do think, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of
demon. It's tough to say because he smacked on the anti-demon, but he also does have that charge to be able to
Mhm.
sneak. That charge lets him kind of sneak in there and pick up those units because he's still a high damage profile
Yeah.
in general. So him by himself could just kind of sneak into an objective and potentially take that away from someone just by beating them with a stick. And things like the interceptors can come in there and give me extra points of objective control
Mhm.
to finish that off and not have to charge them. So I need to run him a little bit more.
Mhm.
Grandmaster's a little bit cheaper, and the way I was going before with it, but I'm going to mull it over and see. Like I said, I definitely would like to play this round sometime again soon because of that first turn. That was really, really rough.
Well, it wasn't really the first turn. I didn't really do anything. It was
The second, yeah.
Yeah, it was
you're
the
right.
second I got in. First turn was very much a staging turn where I'm glad I didn't overcommit that turn because I think that would have been very bad.
Set the stage, locked the door, and threw away the key. I was not getting out of that corner. Hoo-hoo-hoo-wee. Yeah, that was rough. Like, yeah, and then when Angron and one 8-bound didn't die, I was just like, I guess I lose. I guess this is happening. All right, let me try. And the hilarious part is that if I did a little bit better on secondaries, stuck a gambit, and that's all that really matters. We got a gambit caught live on camera. So if you haven't seen it, you've seen it here first. If you've seen it somewhere else first, you've seen it on video here. All right, I don't care. You've seen it on the channel first here. A gambit. Rolled a 10, scored it out. Any closing thoughts, my friend?
No, it was a wonderful game.
I'm sure it was.
I loved it.
I'm sure you did. No, I really appreciate coming out, man, to get a game on the channel. Like I said, I've been trying to spitball some stuff with the Grey Knights.
Mhm.
It's definitely a very difficult army to play. This is a wild one. This is wild one on how that went. And like you said, later into it, there is still a lot of data to pull from that and how certain things function and see. I think, like I said, I definitely got some meat to chew on. I got some fat to chew on from this, but I owe you a rematch. I also to be all fair with this, honestly, listen, you want to talk about good dice and bad dice. Let me give you the Scarab story real quick, okay? There was no so I shot his Catus Rex with the Silent King. And if again, like I said, this game where he could not fail a feel no pain, he couldn't make a 2-up if his life depended on him. And of course, it's just Silent King, bam, both manures hit and do damage.
Yep.
I think I was spraying other random shots into them too.
Yeah,
Bam,
you had some of those Catacomb command barges
Oh,
that
yeah,
shot me,
yeah.
and I couldn't make a 3-up.
No, not even for life. And then it got to a position where I had the Scarabs into the middle because this was when you could still do the 6-inch pregame move and objective secured.
Mhm.
So I had the Scarabs move, and then I moved them out to take the center objective, and I just crowded the objective so that the Imperial Knights could not move onto the objective. But I was close enough to charge. And I look across, and I look over at the knight, and I realize that Canis Rex has like 2 wounds left on him. So I'm like, I think I'm going to charge and blow a Scarab up. And sure enough, bam, charged in there, blowed a Scarab up, attack, Canis Rex is dead. So I kind of deserve this one, especially considering that game, I mean, literally, you could not, there was no, eBay wouldn't have sold you a 6 on a save. And then everything just, okay, here we go. I'm going to shoot it was the Annihilation barges. And it's like, I shoot 10 shots. I end up with 26 wounds on a knight with a strength 7 weapon. So I kind of deserve this one. And don't worry. I'll see you again soon. I'll see you again at tournament soon. Eric, thank you very much for coming out. Guys, I hope you enjoyed watching me get my butt kicked out of another battle report. And we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.